a seat to the bar and join us for another episode of McAnally's Pubcast, a podcast exploring the fun and fantastical mind of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files series. Hosts Tansen, Jess, and Maggie bring you another round of literary analysis on this immense, immersive, and colorful environment inhabited by Harry Dresden, the world's only licensed private investigator and professional wizard. Join an active and engaged community of new and die-hard dedicated fans focused on the fabulous themes, theories, characters, context, lore, and more. This is McAnally's Dresden Files Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk. Welcome to the McAnally's Podcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is a Free Flow bonus, where we talk about whatever the fuck we talk about. My name is Tansen, and I'm joined by Maggie.
Hello, hello.
And Jess.
What up?
Happy 100th episode celebration! As we briefly mentioned, our 100th episode is upon us, and we are insanely proud of ourselves. To celebrate, we want to send out some merch to a few lucky random listeners. All you've got to do to enter is follow us on Twitter at McAnally Pubcast or Instagram at McAnally's Pubcast and like the giveaway post. It's super simple because we just want to say thank you so much for giving us a reason to do these last 100 episodes and a reason to do 100 more. So if you're interested in a thematic McAnally's limited edition mug, make sure to go track down one or both of these posts. Simultaneously, we will be running a giveaway in our Discord. Everyone that's been active in the Discord for the last 100 days is already automatically entered in the drawing. If you'd like to be entered as well, you have the rest of April to participate in the chats on Discord, even if it's just to say hello. You can find a link on our Discord on our website at mcanallys.ca. And finally, those of you in our Patreon automatically have an additional entry for something extra special. If you haven't signed up for our Patreon, it's not too late to get in on that chance for something fabulous. Find us on our Patreon at Free Flow Rambling. That's a total of 4 giveaways, all of which are open worldwide, so click that button, interact in the Discord, or sign up for Patreon, and just plain listen to the new episodes. With lots of love from Maggie, me, Tansen, and Jess. You have until April 30th, when we will announce the winners during our May 5th episode. Good luck!
Before we get into this book, I need to complain about a different book, because I'm really mad about it.
We're already into this book. We're like 17 chapters into this book.
All right, cancel it all. Forget about it. Let's start over at chapter 1, just so I can be right.
Okay, so before we get into today's chapter
and discussion.
What do you have to complain about now,
The
Jessica?
Taming of the Shrew, okay, by Shakespeare.
I've heard of it.
It was a horrible
Shrew is an awful
book.
word for a woman, really.
It is quite mean, but like...
Well, most are, but I mean, I suppose
this
as opposed
book is
to anything
meaner.
else.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
I don't know if it's worse than a bitch.
It doesn't age well.
No, but like...
In these woke times, it's fucked.
Fair enough. The book especially does not age well. You know, far past the saying, you know? I think I'd be less insulted to be compared to a shrew than, like, you know, more traditional animals that we're compared to now. You know, like...
Right?
Cows and... I can't even think of anything right now.
Pussy?
Beavers, sure. Yeah, there you go. I don't know.
I guess I'd rather be called
You're right.
shrewish than...
But, no, Taming of the Shrew was a really horrible book, and it's considered a comedy, and that's not great.
It's not very comedic.
I don't think I laughed a single time the whole book.
No.
And, you know, 10 Things I Hate About You with Julia Stiles and
Heath
Ledger.
Hoth Ledger.
Suddenly it was Star Wars.
So much better, yeah. Yeah, it really did not carry the same level of abuse from the original play to the iconic movie.
No, it didn't. That was a little funnier and a little more, again, got
that movie is definitely gets to be called a comedy, right?
Yes.
Perfect rom-com.
Took the points, but not,
Yeah, no, so I was quite disappointed.
Right, I mean, culturally at the time, like, women had nothing.
Yeah, well,
social
Still,
standards.
some
like,
of his other comedies are comic. Like, I know because Jessica was talking about this. I have not read that one myself, but again, I know the gist of the story from, like, 10 Things I Hate About You, blah blah blah, other contemporary works. But she was saying that it's like he's not just like mean, and it's not just like the bickering. Like, that's what was kind of funny in the movie, right?
no, it's not like they fight and they're on equal ground,
like,
but fighting.
Breaks her the fuck down.
it's mental abuse in like
Totally.
Yeah, and that's
He doesn't let her eat. He doesn't let her wear clothes. He doesn't let her like talk to other people and have
It's
her
a
own opinions
Stockholm
and have
syndrome
any
thing.
fully 100%. And she's a totally broken woman by the end. And everyone's like, "How did you end up with the most obedient wives of all of us? You had the worst one." And he was like, "Oh, a woman wants to be obedient. You just have to let them." And it's just like,
Yeah.
you are the worst ever.
It's like the original Shades of Grey.
Totally. It's like the same sort of style where it's like, like, I shouldn't be insulting never-ending books and authors and things like that because there might be an audience that likes them. But there are certain authors that are incredibly huge on TikTok right now. And people really like their work, and people read everything that they write, even though I particularly think that if you want to read that kind of genre, there's actual good content out there that doesn't include those authors.
Oh, I want to say, I really want to
I'm
thank
not on TikTok. This is all going over my head. I have no idea who you're talking about. So
I really want to thank you for your Aaron Morgenstern. Is it Morgenstern?
Aaron Morgenstein, yeah.
yeah,
Morgenstern,
the
yeah.
Night
I've been doing that the latest book, and
I just want to put it out there that I have been begging the people in my life to read The Night Circus since I read it the year it came out, which was like 2013, give or take.
we should do it.
And I fell in love with it.
We should just do a small episodic
Just talk about that because
podcast on that one because I think that's
Seriously.
worth it because there's so much in
There's
it.
so much, and I was so in love with it, and I did like every book report on it for like the rest of my middle school and high school career that I could possibly get away with it for. And then, did anyone go and read it? My best friends didn't read it. My mom didn't read it. My sister didn't read it. Tanza didn't read it. I've asked aunts to read it. My roommate didn't read it. I begged every person I ever met to please read my favorite book ever. And it was not until I'd left middle school and I'd left high school and I'd been an adult for years and years and years, and then finally, Mom finally sat down and read it. My roommate finally sat down and read it. My other best friend finally sat down and read it. Tanzan finally sat down and read it. Now you're all catching up with what's good quality content.
Hey, you know what? I was busy. I was raising teenage daughters. Okay, I didn't have time to read the books.
You could only read Dresden at that time.
That's right.
One book, woman. One series, woman.
But it
One
is.
series
Night Circus
woman, it
is
is.
fucking amazing.
Right.
And then, yeah, you're on the Starless Sea.
It's great. I'm 70% through. There's one reference in, because there's a bunch of, they talk about different stories.
Yeah.
And one of them, he opens a book and he reads about two magicians in England. And that's the only
That's
reference
the
I've caught
closest it
so
comes
far.
to it, yeah. I think that might be
I
it
don't
then,
think,
yeah.
I don't think,
Like, not
in the next,
continuation.
in the next 30% of the book,
Yeah, doubtful at that point.
But
lovely.
just
I
to throw
believe
it
it.
out there, she definitely is one of her favorite, Jessica's favorite authors, because she actually like did a tweet and she like retweeted it, and it was like the best day of her life when it happened.
It's true. It's true. The author of the Night Circus did retweet me one time, so
Yeah, right.
basically, I'm famous.
Totally
now,
famous.
So
She's
that's
made
all
it.
the acknowledgement I need.
Yeah, that's why Jessica does all her social media, because she's,
I should actually, you know what? The entire cast of Critical Role once liked, retweeted, and responded to me on Twitter once too for the same post. That one was a big hit.
Oh, I
so-
remember you were like ecstatic.
I freaked out about that one. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, you have it made. You got the ins.
So
That's it.
for our listeners, we obviously, you know, that we have this podcast, but we also have in development, we have a series about Johannes the Necromancer, which is
The Cabal series.
Yes, the Cabal series. Which
Jonathan L. Howard.
which is by Jonathan L. Howard. We're waiting to complete at least the first book before we release that one. We're not quite there yet. I would love if we do Aaron Morgenstein stuff. It's lovely.
I referenced her book in the first 15 or so episodes of the Cabal podcast. I bring it up a lot.
Well, and it's chewy. It's got a lot of meat, like because it shifts time frame
Yeah.
frame wise.
It's lots of POVs, lots of
Yeah.
times, lots of back and forth, lots of different angles,
So much to go
settings.
through.
Yeah.
And if you guys if there are any series that you would like us to cover, like I'm happy to entertain another series. If,
Yeah,
if
we
there-
do
if
like
there's
reading.
something that's overwhelming, like
and
you-
we're
that you're
having
like,
fun with the
"This."
podcast. It would just come from a much more.
It might not be quite as weekly.
Oh, well, so there you go.
We'd
So-
have less of an expert opinion. At least for most of us, we've all read the Dresden Files over and over and over and over and over and over again.
That's right. So, like I've mentioned before, I read a bunch of the Brandon Sanderson stuff or whatever, and I think because we were talking about it recently, I've now gone back and like starting to re-listen to the first few of those or whatever. So, we can totally get into all of his, like his books are only like 400 or 500 chapters
I was gonna say, I was
long.
like, that's
It's
too much for me. I'm not willing to commit to that. No one
Tolstoy.
suggests his
We
books
should do
because I'm not
Tolstoy.
doing it.
like book 2 had like 60 chapters. I'm like, that's right. We can take on those ones.
About the
And
only
he's-
reason that I even like tolerate the Jim Butcher books is because I got into it when there was only like 5 books. There's not many other books that I'm like, oh, there's 30 that I need to get through. Nah, no.
Was it like
It's-
Discworld
yeah.
that people
She's-
are like, that's the same
Terry
thing?
Pratchett, yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
I can ever get into that because it's just so much content that I'm just like
It's
I
gone
think
on
it's
for
too late
30
for me.
years
Yeah,
now. I'm gonna die before I get to the end
And
of
it's
the
not
series.
like it's going to continue.
Yeah, well, right.
It's definitely concluded.
whether or not it's got an ending. Yeah, so
yeah, But like I said, we're open to suggestions. so
children's books that I could definitely read in a week.
Find us on our find us on our socials, or find us on the Discord or our website.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really good about responding.
Is that why you've read all?
you people in my DMs that are waiting for a response? I
Yeah,
will
right.
get back to you one day, for sure.
Start making those more public, so I'll check the DMs. But I'm like, oh, that's Jess's thing.
Yeah, see,
Is that why you read all 30 of the Percy Jackson though? Because they're just kid books and they're not like long.
well, I read the original
'Cause
5.
you did read like
I read
30 of those.
I read the original 5 already, so then I only had like a dozen more to go through.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. I had no choice. Okay, my brother read them. I had to read them so I could talk to him about something because otherwise he's just a stupid little kid doesn't want to talk to me about anything.
Yeah, and having stuff in common.
Exactly right.
Get it.
He's not going to do any efforts to read my books. I know, because he did not read the Dresden Files or Harry Potter. So I
He
was
may
like,
get there yet though. Like,
maybe, but I had to go
oh
read
my
his stuff.
God, he's gonna be 16.
He's going to be 16 in
Oh
like
my
less than a month.
God.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I hated it. That's wow.
Yep.
So I was gonna say, well, he's still only whatever, but I'm like, 'cause I'm like, okay, even though you read them all at like 13, I'm like, not everybody's gonna. But he's getting to be of an age now where he can totally appreciate Dresden. So you'll just have to harass him again.
Well, he's a huge Andy Weir fan.
Yeah.
He massively, massively loved Project Hail Mary, which he read first because,
Yeah.
The Martian is my fave, but he read Project Hail Mary first and he was so obsessed with that
Yeah.
now he's like reading Dune and things like that.
Nice. Well read already. That's lovely.
I don't.
Yeah.
He's a nerd.
Yeah,
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Total nerd.
compensation because his sister's all but illiterate. So not this one, not this one, obviously.
I'm right here.
I'm like, which one? There are
to be
three
fair,
choose
Not the
from.
ones that I created. The ones that this half
Sure.
the half sister that's related to the
Because it's
half.
well known that your other biological daughter is a reader. She gets through about one book a year, maybe.
But she can read. She's
capable of it.
I didn't like to at that age either. Well, actually, no.
25?
By her age, I was into. As a kid, everybody was always like, that was such a big thing in my family. Be like, I'm bored to like read a book. I'm like, I don't want to read a fucking book. Everybody in my family read books. So by the time I came along, I was like, ugh, I'm so over this. So yeah, I didn't really get into being a big reader until I was like late teens, kind of a thing, and like high school more. I picked up on it, but.
I think I was a reader. Like my parents.
I was
huge
already born
readers.
by then.
There were like walls
Reading.
of fiction
Shut
on the
up!
wall.
I late high school, you fucker.
But I think what got me more into reading is the ability to read from a Kindle, because I could just sit in the dark and read and not worry about it. And if I fell asleep, the book didn't shut on me.
There is that with I read a lot more. Yeah, being able to take it with me, and because I used to anyways, but then that was the thing. It's like if you had a pocketbook.
Right, and
It fits
I
in your
have
pocket, but it
thousands
gets-
of books, thousands, like
Beat the
and they
shit
all
up.
fit on one
Yeah.
little tiny device. Yay!
Yeah, that was part of why I never had like the little tiny pocketbook. I always had like a bag because I'm like, well, my hardcover
Gotta keep a book
Dresden
on me,
Files
yeah.
does not fit in my little clutch. So
We should probably start the episode. We're 15 minutes in, just the intro.
that's okay. We can do
In conclusion, fuck Taming of the Shrew and fuck you, Shakespeare. And actually, I do want to put a quick caveat onto that as well, because, like, as you were saying, like, some of his comedies were actually legitimately comedic. And part of the reason that, you know, it counts as a comedy is more so because the only thing that had standards was the histories and the tragedies, and if it wasn't one of those, then it just automatically got
Everything
the
else was a
classification as a
comedy.
comedy.
Yeah.
They should have just come up with a fourth fucking category.
Now maybe we can time to make some new categories for
We really should.
Shakespeare.
But there's, you know,
We're not sure category.
he's got some questionable things within all his works that, like, I'm much more willing to be like, this is part of the time. Taming of the Shrew, no. No.
No, despicable even for then.
Despicable even for then.
Yeah, it's like this is not just like a cultural or a...
And part of the problem was is that it was one of his shortest plays, so it was like the most commonly they like the short plays were the ones that were like the people's plays. Like you didn't have to go back for a part 2 and a part 3 or sit there for hours and hours and hours. Like it was just like an hour and a half, 2-hour show, and that was that, right? So they played it all the time, right? And terrible.
They were like...
I mean, fortunately, he doesn't make all of his women, you know...
No,
no, you're right.
Like
Ophelia had a great end. Juliet had a great end.
Lady Macbeth.
Lady Macbeth had a great end.
Much
Yeah.
Ado About Nothing. That's a strong female character.
Yeah, remind me of which one. I've read it, but I read so many of them
Much
recently.
Ado is the one with, what is it, Beatrice and
Yes,
Wesley
yes, okay.
Wyndham Price?
I'm okay with that one. She kind of screwed her whole family over, but that was fair because they screwed her first. So I'm okay with that one, right?
And by Wesley Wyndham
she's
Price,
not.
I mean
She's not like. She doesn't end. She's a strong character. She doesn't end up being a weak character
Yeah,
by the end.
that's fair. And I will say, like,
Or dying, thankfully.
Measure for Measure. If you've read it, you know, like, yeah, he's not necessarily always nice to that female character. It's not necessarily she's treated with the most respect. However, she, you know, she gets her comeuppance by the end. So I'm okay with that. It's a little ambiguous of an end, so you get to write it yourself. But
Titus Andronicus, where the women actually she kills the guy's sons and bakes them into a pie. Yes.
I need to read that one still.
Sorry, was that spoilers?
No, I've got that basic understanding of it, but I don't own that one yet, so I haven't read that one
Yeah,
yet.
that was her big fuck you. I killed your sons and you just ate them in a pie.
I was going to say at this point, because I'm big on not getting spoilers, which is funny because my boss always wants to tell me everything about everything she watches. And she's like, I'm not going to tell you spoilers, but then she'll then tell me like 3/4 of the movie, except for like the twist. But I think at this point, Shakespeare, I think we can confidently say you're no more...
You've had long enough
You're no
to
longer
figure out-
allowed to claim spoiler status or like any... I'm like, yeah, I haven't read
Is it
that.
too
And
soon
I'm-
for Jesus jokes?
That should be said, though. I just finished season 6 of Game of Thrones, like, literally, like, 24 hours ago. And Titus Andronicus, hello, girl. That was such an amazing thing. I was not expecting that twist whatsoever, and I gotta say, Arya is fucking awesome. And I know I'm, like, 800 years behind on Game of Thrones, so everyone else is like, yeah, bitch, we know. But
I would
like,
just watch it and then leave the last season. Just don't.
everyone
Make-
says
make
that,
it up.
but
You
everyone...
never can, though. You have to...
I have to finish it, but not only that, I never thought I was gonna watch Game of Thrones, so I let people come into work and rant to me for, like, the decade it was going on, because I was like, yeah, I'm never gonna get to this, I don't give a fuck.
Well,
So I'm well aware of the majority of the plot, right?
Like
Like,
spoilers and everything.
right?
yeah.
Like, I know who becomes the fucking king of the thrones.
Did
Like,
he ever finish the books? Because I know
No,
there was
everyone's still
speculation
waiting on
that
the
he's
last
actually
one.
going to just change it because the reception was
because the reception was so bad. Yeah. Winds of Winter is the apparent title, and it's not here yet. But the Winds
had a
of
hard
Winter
time-
TV episode came out, and it was awesome.
Have you read any of those books?
Nope.
I try so hard to read them, and it like something about them just shuts my brain off. There's too many character names.
Yeah.
They switch. I tried to listen to it while I was driving. I had to turn it off because it made me nod off while I was driving. It was too dangerous.
See, it's taken me 3 years to get through 6 seasons of Game of Thrones, and I'm so confused now. Like, I don't remember who anyone is constantly. I have to constantly ask my friends, like, who the fuck is this? When's the last time we saw them? What's their issue with each other? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
and like,
You need to have the
You need a
wiki to
map.
follow
Yeah.
along.
yeah,
with
and
you.
it's only, you know, like, what, like 8 to 10 episodes a season, so they pack in a lot into those few episodes.
Oh, in the books, there's way more shit in there.
And then there's even like they gave half the characters in the books the same roles to the actors on TV, right? So like you got to now learn double the amount of names and families in the books because like
I'm way
Yes.
too attention deficit for
Yeah.
that. I don't remember names.
I
Like,
can't remember
I'm
that
not-
shit at all. It's
don't
like
know.
I can't even follow the fucking TV show. I'm not gonna be able to follow a goddamn book.
Right.
And like we've complained about this too. Like if an author's gonna use a fantasy name, you have to start with a different letter. Okay, it's not
They
fair.
all start with
It's
the
not
same-
fair
all
when
start
you
with
use a
T?
fantasy name and they've all got the same T name because I'm already not pronouncing it correctly and just giving it some whatever onomatopoeia thing in my brain.
This is not 19 Kids and Counting. Just separate your characters, please.
Seriously.
One book that I was reading, and I wish I could remember the name of it, but I was reading it a different pronunciation, and then it got through this, like it was a 3-book series, and then near the end of the second book, it actually had somebody phonetically pronounce it
Hermione.
right, and I was like, oh crap! Why couldn't you have done this in the first book?
Right.
So, I have to reprogram my whole understanding
brain to do
of
it,
like
yeah.
this whole book now.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know
So
that's what-
it's
I know
just
it.
like I can't. That's why I can't do Game of Thrones. I'd like to one day. I own all the books that exist so far, and they just sit there on the shelf staring at me, and I'm like,
I just more so enjoy like the side stories that go along with it. Like I forget exactly where it was. I want to say it was like a Swedish teacher or something like this. But I just remember hearing there was like this teacher that would have like trouble, getting the high school class to settle or whatever. And so finally he's like, because he had read the books. So of course now everybody was into Game of Thrones, right? So it was like when they were all like busy, and he would just be like, from now on, if you guys don't sit down and shut up when I tell you to, he's like, I'm gonna write like the name of somebody that dies on the board. Like I think basically he's like, I'm just gonna start throwing out spoilers and and they. Apparently he had like the best class after that.
oh, there you go.
Wow, that's surprising that they were like.
Cared enough, but it was when Game of Thrones was going on.
Well,
It
this
a
was
huge thing.
in the height of it, but it was just
Yeah.
funny, like things like I'm like I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe it's urban, but but
I
it was
really
just like
want to I really want to get into them. My sister loves those books. Like she tried to get me to read them
Yeah.
before there was ever a TV series. While I was
Yeah.
in university, she lent me her book. Was really mad that I didn't give it back for 10 years and never actually read it.
But see, that's where great things happen because that's how Potterless came about. His sister was a huge Harry Potter nerd. Everybody he grew up with, he's like when I was in university, he went to like Rice University or something fancy schmancy, and they had like their houses, their dorms were like split into houses, and they, you know what I mean? And he just never so he was like around it, knew it, but never got into it until he finally sat down at like 24 and was like, okay, I'm gonna read these books because everybody. And lo and behold, that was like a whole big thing for him and a whole big thing for everybody. So,
And I'll get like
sometimes
Potterless
it's okay.
became like a big thing, and I'll give him all the credit for that. But for me personally, like I'm now as someone who's watching Game of Thrones years and years behind everyone else, it's like, fuck, I wish I could have reacted with the world to this, because now I'm like I just watched, like the second to last episode of season 6 is like Battle of the Bastards, and the whole time I was like, what is going on?
And
Holy
nobody
shit!
else
And no one else
cares.
cares. They're like, we went through this
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 years ago.
There
Yeah.
are so many
cl-
like
and-
great twists in that series. Like,
Right. Well, I mean,
I wish I had the patience for it.
the way the book 1 ends, and I'm gonna say this because if you don't know how Game of Thrones goes by now, too bad for you, including myself. But Ned Stark is murdered at the end of book 1.
I did hear that, yeah.
Or at the end of season 1, right? And that was an insane twist for everyone who read the book originally, and then a decade later for everyone who was watching the TV show, because he's set up during the first book, all the POVs are for him.
Yeah.
Everyone's reacting to Ned Stark, and Ned Stark's reacting to everyone else.
Can't kill your main character.
He's the main character.
You can't kill Harry after the first book. There's no series.
In season 1, Ned Stark is set up to be the only real guy you're paying any attention to, right? So when he got murdered, everyone was like, what the fuck are we watching now? Like, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously, as you see the way the divulgence of Game of Thrones is that it's everyone's point of view. You jump between 30
goes
different countries and
insane.
right? It gets insane. And I'm really bad for it because I know that there's a million shows on Netflix that are big right now. I still haven't watched Squid Games.
Nope.
Right? Haven't done
I don't
that
think
one,
I
right?
want to, though.
I never
again.
watched Black Mirror.
It's not bad. Oh, you should
Right?
you should actually watch Black Mirror.
But
Sorry.
I don't watch TV shows though. I don't watch TV rarely.
That one's a wonderful, predictive. It's a predictive commentary on society, and for when it came out, it's creepily
see?
accurate.
But you
That's
know
why
what?
I don't want to watch it.
I think I would like it. I also think I'd like Star Wars. I'll probably never watch Star Wars for the rest of my life because people get really mad when they hear I haven't seen Star Wars, and that itself gives me joy that I think I would achieve in the same way
I
by
think with
just watching.
Black Mirror has a lovely level of layered intelligence that you would appreciate.
I still probably won't watch it.
Yeah.
I just don't watch
same.
TV.
Well, right, and then you'll get yelled at 10 years later for not reading the book at the same time you read the book. But this is the thing, is that you don't always have
You should.
the time
listen,
or
if
the
I give a
mindset.
book recommendation, you should obviously read it. I've never led anyone astray in that regard ever. I have amazing recommendations. You should read
I'm not
everything by
saying you
Andy Weir and
don't.
everything by Aaron Morgenstern. Okay.
I'm just saying sometimes, though, you don't get to it until 10 years later.
What's Andy Weir?
The Martian and Project
Hail
Hail Mary.
Oh, okay,
You don't have to read Artemis, though. You can skip that one.
okay. I watched the movie and I quite liked it, but is it true to?
what it would be like if you were stranded on Mars, I'm gonna say yes because no one can dispute
I'm
that.
saying like,
Is
like
the-
is it
is
a
the
good,
movie-
is the movie a good representation of the book?
Oh, as far as it can be, yeah.
Yes.
I'm obviously everyone's gonna complain about things that were left out, and there's gonna always be a funny part that never made it.
But
like, I literally just put the movie on at home as background noise constantly because I just love it so much. I'll just let it go on and on and on and on and on.
I can't remember. Feel like I read recently something where it was like that's one of the
Oh, you see The Last of Us?
Oh.
I should probably watch that. It's got a bunch of like Critical Role characters in it.
And I really want to watch. I have the game, and I want to play it first before I watch the series. And
That makes sense.
You know what?
when am I going to have time to do that?
The Last of Us keeps throwing me for a loop because it sounds too much like This Is Us, which was another big. And you keep.
Oh
being
yeah, I
like,
didn't watch that one either.
This Is Us, and I'm like, and then you're like a bunch of Critical Role characters, and I'm like, what? Oh no, Last of Us, not This Is
I tend
Us.
to avoid series that are described as "this will make you weep."
Yeah,
which is
well,
fair.
and that's I did start because I was like, oh, I know a couple of these people, I like them, and started watching it, and then it was really good, and I did enjoy. But again, it is a little bit too much. I'm like, oh no, too real. I don't need to sob and cry. I have
like-
not finished that series. I don't know if I will ever go back to it.
Even for happier shows too, though, like Glee was on the air for probably like I don't know, they were probably about halfway through their seasons when I finally was like, okay, like there's too much hype. I gotta know what's going on because like I was in middle school when that show started, and every single one of my there was no one in the entire school that didn't talk about it, and like I had to know what was going on. And then of course I binged the entire thing and then was obsessed with it for the rest of its run.
Based on my education, I have many people that have become irate knowing that I have never watched Glee.
Yes.
And I don't intend to. Like, I
It's
think
not
I've
a good show, though.
I think I've watched 1 or 2 episodes, and the characters rub me so badly
I think
that I
it's
was like, I have no empathy for these
Maybe
characters.
being part of that world, they don't fit with you.
Yeah,
For
they're
those of
horrible
us that I'm
people.
like, but also like I'm
No.
not part of that whole.
but that show was very
Like I have no
insane,
expectations
though.
about what Glee people should be like, right? She grew up in that world, so that could be part of it too.
I should also say that I am not a fan of a cappella groups. I don't like
Whoa.
a cappella groups. I don't.
See, there you go.
But Pitch Perfect is one of the best movies ever created.
I was an instrumentalist before I was ever a singer. And
Still.
Snobby. That's why she plays 22 instruments.
I've got sort of an
I will.
I've got an upside down view on that.
I'll
because-
insult Glee forever, but Pitch Perfect was amazing and will always be amazing.
But anyways, you finally got into
Oh
Glee,
no, I
and then
actually
that
like
was a
Pitch
thing
Perfect.
because
Pitch Perfect, it's fun. I like that
Pitch
one.
Perfect is fun, exactly, right?
I will make allowances for that one because it is so goddamn
It is so
fun.
much fun, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. But yeah, no, I'm always really behind on everything, so it takes forever too.
And I'm impressed with a cappella groups. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate them. It's just not my thing.
Not your thing, yeah.
yeah,
Like, I don't listen to it and particularly go,
You don't-
I want to listen to more. No.
you don't seek out all the same thing. Like I enjoy it at the it's like sort of dance things and like synchronized skating and things like that. I'm like, it looks so cool, and you look at those things put together, and I'm like absolutely awed. But I'm like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to search out like figure skating competitions or anything. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, when everybody in the world is watching it because the Olympics are on, I will watch and be like, holy crap. Or like you say, especially big group choreography things and stuff like that. I'm like, that's why it's the big number in the show, because I'm like, it's super impressive. But yeah, it's like same thing. I'm like, I like Pitch Perfect. I enjoy Glee, but I'm like, yeah, I don't go out of my way to find every single a cappella group that's out there and like, you know, flood my iPod with it if I still owned an iPod and that was a thing.
See, my roommate,
Defunct
he
technology.
He loves that stuff. So he's always playing like a cappella stuff. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
I think.
I just again enjoy this thing that you know what I mean? This like watching people draw. Like I was just bragging about a coworker. She's an amazing freaking artist, and she was just showing me she finished it. She loved the show Supernatural, and she did like a triptych painting thing of it. Yeah, and it's amazing. Like she's good. I've seen
really good.
others. It's really good.
really, really good.
Yeah, she didn't just like trace it out and hang it up on her wall. Like she fucking does all this shit, and it's so good. And I'm like, I'm just amazed by that because I don't have artistic talent that way. And like people that can sing, and I'm like, I'm just blown away because I cannot sing. And like,
high five to our untalented
Yeah.
family, Mom. Woo!
we are talkers, and that's it.
Somebody's got to appreciate the arts.
But yeah, but you know, but exactly right. But I'm just like all of that stuff. stuff is just like, it's crazy to me sometimes when you see what these people put together, whether it's like drawing or dancing or singing, and how they, and I'm
But again, this is the one problem I have, though, is that when I then cannot participate when everyone else is, that's where I feel like the FOMO, right?
Yes.
It's like, oh, no, everyone is all talking about Game of Thrones, and I missed it, and, or, like, at the time, I was like, I don't give a fuck, I don't have time for this, I'm not watching it. But now, after the fact, I'm like, fuck, I want to talk about it, what the hell? And even as we do the Dresden Files, it's like, I want to talk about Battleground before 12 months comes out.
Which is part of why I keep saying we should, because otherwise, like you say, it's going to be 10 years from now, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah, Battleground.
Nah,
So over that now.
But I don't want the podcast to be out of order.
Right.
I keep saying we don't have to necessarily release it out of order, though. Like you see, you can still talk about. And I mean, even like I say, even if we have to, we can't just release that episode as is, because 10 years later we're gonna have other things. At least then you've still got all those excitable
Ideas
points to
and
be like,
things,
okay,
yeah.
no, I definitely have to mention this, or we're definitely putting in this, or I'd forgotten about. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because
A test copy.
I do the same thing too. A lot of times I don't have the time or the interest, or I'm in the headspace, or whatever, and I come to things late. And exactly, it's like cool, because I'm like, well, now I can just sit down and watch the whole series, and I don't have to wait. I don't have to go back to the Stone Age where it's like I used to sit down every week and be like, I can't go anywhere on Thursday because I have to watch this show, because I'm only going to get to see this show if I'm going to watch it. And wait every week.
That was almost better, though. Like, as a child, I was caught up on Buffy and Doctor Who because I had no choice but to watch it every single week.
Well,
now as an adult, since streaming became a thing, I
there's-
haven't seen since middle of Matt Smith's episodes.
I was
and
going to say
like,
pros and cons, because the point being is it's pros and cons. You're right. Is that you can? It's like visiting attractions and like world things in your city. You're like, well, I live here. I can go to the San Diego Zoo anytime I want. And you like never ever go until people come from out of town and they're like, I came from halfway across the world to see the San Diego Zoo, and you're like, sure, I'll
For people who don't know, The Last of Us was just filmed in our city and surrounding. And people keep posting like, "Oh my God, that's so beautiful! I want to go see those mountains." Or, "Oh my God, like look at all these like Albertans taking a picture in front of this like random building that was like a defunct bank in the show or whatever like that." And the rest of us are like, "Yeah, you get stuck in traffic next to that every day, and it fucking sucks. We hate it there." And when Last of Us was filming there, no one could drive down that road, so the traffic was 2 streets over, and it was even worse for 6 months.
Exactly.
There was another one that was filmed in Alberta that was Winona Earp.
Yes.
I remember watching that, and I don't think I actually knew it was filmed in Alberta until I saw the army surplus that has this. It has a mural of
yes.
this World War pinup girl.
Yep.
And I was watching, and it was like, that is in fucking Inglewood, and that I know exactly where that is. Oh my God! I was. Then I started doing all the
I
research.
haven't watched it. I've heard it's good. I haven't watched it, but I did know that because of my Cub connections.
I'm sad
One
that
of
that
our-
one never continued. Like, oh, it was so good.
Oh, but yeah, the kids in his mom is in costuming, so she does do a lot of the Alberta theater stuff that comes around, and it's really cool because we've actually had her come in a couple of times, and she's done like a thing with the Cubs, and it's so cool to get to like see how the costumers like distress an outfit, and then we get to pour fake blood all over it, and all this kind of stuff. But yeah,
I did a bunch of costuming in university. It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's so amazing.
It is. It's very cool, but because she's involved in that, so she's had the kids that are our Cub, and so there's like the first boy who, my God, just became like an adult now. So that's like 10 years, and then like his younger sister, and then his younger brother, and stuff like that. So they had. One of the other reasons why I keep meeting, because I think a few times they were, I think just like background or something like that, but if they needed like, a crowd of kids or something like that, a couple times they got to be, and I'm like, I just want to go, I'm like, I've heard it is a good show, and it was filmed here, and I was like, oh, now I can actually go and like see if I can pick up, like, hey, there you are in the back of that.
It's mostly in one of the small town outside of where we are, but
It's
But
mostly
yeah,
outside, but it is like there's like
It is, but
like
it's-
you said, like everyone's always like, "That's so cool, let's go there," and we're all like, "Fuck that place," right? Or like people always want to go to Banff.
actually that army surplus is pretty awesome.
Maybe, but like
if you're into Army
we all
surplus.
take the Rockies for granted, right? We all take Banff for granted.
I worked down the street from it, so I would always park in front of it because that was like the free parking that wasn't metered. It was like,
Right. Well, that's like West Edmonton Mall, right? Growing up in Edmonton, right? Like, I remember thinking it was the coolest thing in the world. West Edmonton Mall was featured in an Archie comic. Okay.
was? Oh.
Yeah, they used to like sort of the magazine ones, and they would have things where sometimes they would go, or they'd go to Disneyland and they'd go to Paris, and Archie and the crew went to West Edmonton Mall because it was this amazing, fantastic indoor amusement park, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, and it is cool. But at the same time, once you've lived there, you avoid it like the plague. You only go on certain occasions, like maybe not during the Christmas crunch, but like you might want to go there to do your Christmas shopping because every single store literally is there.
Banff. is another good example of that.
Bam, she was saying is that, we love
we
it.
don't
It's
care. We
gorgeous.
take it for granted.
We don't
It's
want to
just
go because
Too
it's just...
many tourists.
Well, fuck, no. Okay, we hosted the Olympics, 30 years ago, right? And
1988.
we've had the Olympic setups around our city and surrounding areas for 30 years now to use at our leisure. And, we don't go to them. Tourists come and use them. People come to Canada all the time to use our defunct Olympic things, and we go maybe it's a
Here's
friend
our ski
group.
jump.
It's a friend group outing one winter.
yeah.
But we don't ever use it. I don't know anyone who goes on a regular basis to any of those properties
Well,
anymore.
that's people in New York and LA and da. You know, you're like, how often? Are you going to the Empire State Building every week? No, probably not. You're like, it's cool, I can see it, but fuck that because it's full of all you assholes that are there every day going through. But yeah, so same thing with shows and books and movies and stuff. Sometimes it's it is super. But yeah, either I get fed up.
That's a nice
there's
thing
too
about
much
Dresden.
hype at the time.
The nice thing about Dresden is for the regular Chicagoan, all you need to do to be a tourist in your own city is go to Walmart.
Chicagan.
That's right.
Go to Walmart, go to the harbor,
Chicagoan.
get mugged in an alleyway 18 times.
Right? Exactly. This is true. He does not. Oh, and St. Mary's.
Yeah.
Graceland.
Drive by St. Mary's, yeah.
Graceland and St. Mary's. So I was going to say he doesn't
And you
go
gotta
to
have the
Lola,
hot dogs. Sorry, you do. If you're in there, you have to have the hot dogs.
which is fine. But there's probably a lot of hot dog places.
Was it
It's not
Sky something? Skyline hot dogs? I was there once. And I got told and taken, and they have these little
taken.
tiny crackers, and they give you actually a pallet of butter.
I don't want to hear that.
So good.
How dare you?
No, it's actually really good.
How dare
don't,
you?
Don't give the
Nope.
horrified look. No,
I
little
don't hear-
crackers with butter are
I
amazing.
okay, when somebody says a pallet of butter.
Oh yeah,
No,
oh, yeah.
I'm,
It's in a little ketchup receptacle, and it's filled with butter.
Okay, well that's not a pallet of
Packet.
Sorry.
I've been working in industries the last couple of years. That a pallet is the big
They give you
giant.
3 tiny crackers
Yeah.
and 8,000 pounds of butter.
Yeah, and my boss
Okay,
eats
fair
things
enough.
like that. I've never known anybody that buttered graham crackers, and she slathers butter onto her graham.
Gross, don't tell us that.
Yeah, I hate butter. Butter is only good if it's melted. I will not eat the quote-unquote raw butter. Do not make me a sandwich with butter or margarine on it. I cannot stomach it.
Those are two very different products.
But they are used in the same way and interchangeably. I don't care, butter or margarine. The only way it's
Actually,
accept-
putting butter on your bread actually stops your glycemic
know.
index from spiking like mad. It's actually very.
Well, and it's also supposed to stop the jelly from soaking into the bread. As my mom used to always try and I'm like, no, I don't, because I was like,
don't like this conversation. It's not for me.
it's-
well, take your headphones. Take your headphones off then, because
You know what's funny about the headphones is that you're actually still in the same room as me, so I can still just hear what you're saying.
getting a drink. Do you want one?
But the point is,
I want a non-celiac disease conversation.
Oh God, Jesus.
butter doesn't have wheat in it, as far as I know.
Yeah, still.
But yes, if I make toast, it's just a very thin layer right when it's fresh out, so it's hot and it melts. Melted butter is divine. I love melted butter on things like popcorn and toast, but again, not caked on. And as soon as it starts to congeal, it's disgusting and gross.
Caked on butter.
And my boss puts a layer of butter on every. No, so she puts
To win the competition for 100 episodes, say the word Butterfingers.
Butterface.
Butterface.
Thanks a lot, Shakespeare.
Now keep reading and keep talking, and they'll lose it. They'll never hear this.
Oh, and I there was a request on on Discord.
Legally, that's a joke.
I fucking love you. So there was a request on Discord that I actually have to ante up with pictures now because of you two, and music clips of me singing.
Not my fault you sing songs and take pictures. That's why I don't do either of those things. I've got nothing to put on the internet.
I did update my website, so shameless self-promotion right here.
Hell yeah, plug it.
So Tanzan.rocks is my music website, and it has clips from some of my performances that I've done. They're definitely not professional level. These are recitals, and
These are me
and
in the
karaoke.
audience holding my cell phone.
Maggie recorded the bulk of them,
But but they're
Tanzan,
still awesome, and they still,
Tanzan TANSENN.rocks.
ROX. Just kidding.
Damn it, woman.
.com?
No, that's the Dot Rocks. Dot Rocks is in the...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh.
that is the...
Yeah.
Oh.
Because listen, you've got the earphones on. Actually, listen to the words that are coming through the.
No, a lot of people made that mistake because you don't... It's
You can continue after that. You can do dot something and dot com, okay?
Well, and I have my IT professional website that is a .com, which is because... But
She's
the
a .com.
Dot Rocks is fun. I'm like,
Yes.
yeah,
But that is the domain. Yes, it is not tanzan.rocks.com. It's just tanzan.rocks.
Gosh.
All you need.
because that would make Tanzan a subdomain. We don't make Tanzan a subdomain.
Tanzan is not a sub.
Oh God, I'm feeling really awkward
Now that
right
we're
now.
okay, so we're done with your plug then.
I'm gonna remove
No,
that
no
part.
more plugs. No more.
You ruined it.
Oh
subs,
God,
no
it's just
more.
getting worse. God, did you miss your face?
Well, no, I got my face. I missed
Wow.
my mouth.
First sip of wine, she's already drunk.
I said miss your face,
I didn't miss my face. I missed my mouth.
which is part of your face.
Okay, yes, but not the main
She got
part
the
of-
rest of the face, though.
But I got. I did
Picture-
not miss
picture
my
frame.
face. There's definitely wine on my face. I missed the part of my face that I wanted to put the wine in.
I'm also trying to get Jess drunk, and she's drinking really, really slowly. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's her birthday.
You'll complain along with everyone
I
else.
will.
I always
I'm-
drink slowly.
I'm gonna go upstairs shortly and then see if there's Fireball. And make this a thing. Oh, come on.
That's another
I've heard,
reason why
I've
we
heard
don't
your stories of Spain. Was it Spain on the
Yeah,
beach?
I sure did, and I lived through it.
You
Yeah.
don't remember most of it, but you lived.
I lived, and I made it back home.
Did I hear
God.
about the beach on Spain? I just remember jellyfish.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you had this discussion during the podcasting. It was,
I woke up on a beach in Spain.
yeah, something about a gentleman that was with a.
He bought me 17 shots of tequila in 45 minutes, and then I woke up on a beach in Spain.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah,
I'll drink to that.
yeah. It was. I didn't have to pay for anything the whole night.
Was your virtue intact?
Yeah, sure.
Did anything hurt?
Was it a good looking Spanish guy? Was it
You know what's
okay with
funny?
this guy?
Is
It
that-
was like some creepy old
I flew all the way to Europe and then ran into a guy from Quebec.
happens every time.
Yeah.
Every fucking time. Oh, you're from Canada? Do you know Tanzan? Why, yes, I do.
It
I
happens.
should have asked.
My reputation precedes me.
But that's what I mean, right? It's like you always go somewhere and yeah, she
Right.
ends up in like
Do you know Tim, Bill, and Sally from Canada? I sure do. They're all
Sadly.
married to each other.
no, that's Arkansas, not Canada.
It surprises me just how many times it's just kind of like, why would I know somebody? Oh shit, I do.
yeah, right.
Fuck.
But the funny thing is that like Canada wants to be a bitch and like complain about like we don't all know each other, but like
Yeah, actually, we do.
when you've got like a 100th of the population of America, it makes a lot more sense that we would all know each other.
I figured this out through Facebook. When you look at somebody, they're like, "Do you know this person?" If you actually put it in Facebook on your friends list, they're a friend of yours.
Yeah.
Or like a friend of a friend.
A friend of a friend
Yeah,
of
You're
yours.
like,
They'll always-
you know this person that knows you.
Yep.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, like, we have this huge country, but they keep saying that, like, 2/3 of it aren't really all that. So, like, all of our population is, like, smushed down along the.
Well, all of our
Population.
population,
We all live all together in that little band anyway.
95% of the population of Canada lives within the first 100 miles of the U.S. border.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because
So
we're all.
condensed
Which is
as shit.
smart
We're all
because
condensed.
once you get north of that, it's fucking.
Well, that's part of it too.
Well, think about it.
We're
I
just
mean,
so friendly. It's like
sorry,
we're
Northern
all
Canada,
here.
but
We're
you
all
suck.
just gonna get to know each
We
other.
live within 300 miles of the border, and we get negative 40 where we are. We have roughly 150 days of winter. Like, yeah, and you want to go more north than that?
And-
That reminds me of the
And
meme
we
where,
get
where
the
it
most-
shows this person that looks pained and they're like, I'm outside wondering why I live in a place that when winter makes my face hurt.
That the
Yeah,
air,
exactly.
the air
It
makes my
sucks.
face hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this is like the city that gets like the most sun.
we
and
get the
we
most
still
sun
get,
in Canada,
like,
And
we're
we're very
negative
temperate
40.
because of the
And-
Chinooks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get Chinook, and we're still fucking minus like 40 and below it. It was fucking snowing when I left my house. I woke up and there was like an inch of
Was it
snow.
snowing in our city?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you guys. My town. Thank God I was coming into So my town literally there was like another inch of like snow on. And then it was funny because I was babysitting my little grannies and we're coming out of the house and she's like, "What's that noise?" And there's like water pouring off the east trough as it's like still lightly snowing, it's like, yes, dear, you live in Alberta, where it is snowing and melting at the same time. Put your earmuffs on and get in the car.
Where we live is one of the least zones for natural disasters in Canada too, and we still get fucked. We get tornadoes here. Like a couple years back, it rained for so many days that the entire city was flooded. We had to evacuate our zoo.
Yeah, we got
in 10 years we had two major floods.
Insane,
like,
right?
Huge.
Yeah,
it basically like altered the entire geography of this building our city now, because we now have to every community
flood-proof everything.
No, but everything that's been built since then is being raised.
Yeah.
Than the ground level that it was on, because it's like, oh yeah, our city can't take being leveled like that again, right? Because that fucked us for a long time.
Pretty sure anyone that is listening to this episode, this bonus
no one's
episode,
listening to this,
definitely knows where we live now.
Or,
they're like, well, now they do.
We've mentioned it though, like there's been a couple times where it hasn't been edited out. So it's just
I thought I caught all of them. Shit.
There's been a handful.
I don't know the
like,
actual name.
Like,
I can't remember.
Mom mentioned the Calgary Tower like 2 or 3 episodes ago.
I got rid of that.
Yeah,
Shit.
it was in. So yeah, there's been a couple now where I'm like, okay, it's out now.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
my latest update of my editing software is not actually. I think it's not cutting. It's just copying.
Oh, and not
Maybe,
yeah, because there was some.
There's always a handful. Like there's been a few the last couple of episodes. I'm just like, yeah,
Because that I distinctly remember being bonus cut.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Or actually, if it mentioned the tower, then it would have.
I just feel like there's been enough sort of like hints. It was the hints that it's because Jessica's same thing. She tried not to tell me where she worked for like 6 months, but then kept talking about everything they do at work and everything they have at work and all this. There's
did she finally know?
I knew
she's known for a long
ages
time.
ago.
No, I don't. I never asked. But
yeah, because she kept saying, she's like, oh, anybody in Edmonton, there's like a sister thing is like opening up there, and it's like, well, gee, the only thing opening in Edmonton that has all this stuff is the only thing down here that has all that stuff is this thing. The only thing that's within this radius of Jessica walking to work is like this thing.
It's funny that you cared enough to look it up.
Probably works at this restaurant.
I would not have cared enough to Google that.
And eventually, just because it was getting really, really, really annoying, because she kept insisting on talking about everything, would be like, well, I can't tell you where, I can't tell you what. And I'm like, is this like when your dad worked at the strip club and wouldn't admit it? It was like after we split up or something like that, he was saying something about working, and I was like, because he used to do DJing, and I was like, where are you DJing? And he like didn't want to tell him. I was like, what are you DJing? Or like the strip club? I was like, no. Found out it was totally DJing at the strip club. So it's like, is that where you're working? Like, you don't want to tell me, but like, no more book recommendations. We're done.
Sure. I'm out of book complainings.
Book complainings. Yeah.
I was trying to think of.
I can't recommend anything to read, but I can tell you what not to read. Oh, there you go. Can we do that as like a side podcast?
Great. I'm gonna insult Colleen Hoover forever without reading any of her books.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
I have no idea what has Colleen Hoover done. I have no idea.
She just writes the worst books ever, and everyone's obsessed with them. It's like,
oh, okay, but yeah, instead of like what not to wear and stuff like that, we're gonna have like what not to read.
What not to read? Yeah,
and we're gonna be like, okay,
don't ever sign up for Kindle Unlimited. That's what not to read. Although I am guilty of just reading it anyway.
People are obsessed with KU online.
I occasionally indulge myself with before we were doing this. Like I was reading hundreds of books through
because you can just self-publish on KU.
Yeah,
so they're not necessarily good. They're just
some
content.
Some of them are surprisingly really good.
Oh yeah, it's like fan fiction. Sometimes you get some amazingly awesome, and you're like, you should write, and then you get the ones that are like, I can't even fucking get through.
This is free and I don't want it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's always going to be, I'm sure, like a few gems in there. It's just hard. It's like how many?
It's easy reading for the most part. It's just like, all right, I'm going to read a new book and it's going to take me a day and a half. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like how many frogs are you going to suffer through to find that prince? It's like
I've decided that I actually need to own or read the stuff that I own. I signed up for BookBub.
Oh yes.
And I love that service, but in a 1.5 year period, I ended up inventorying how much books I bought through them, which were either free, $1 or $2.
Okay, yeah.
And I had 1,500 books. Wait, not 15, 1,500.
Yeah,
1,500.
Yeah, 1,500.
That's insane.
That's a lot of books.
That's a lot of books.
Yeah.
I hope a lot of them were free rather than even $1. Because even at $1,
mostly,
that's $1,500.
I think I averaged out the price, and I think I was maybe spending between $20 and $30 on books a month.
Okay.
which is not terrible.
That's not terrible.
Like,
20 bucks
Yeah.
a month.
that's
That's way less than like people's
Most, you know,
Starbucks.
like, yeah.
sadly, I think at the same time I also had Kindle Unlimited.
Poor Jess had.
So I was like, just like my stats for Kindle were just like, you read a few hundred books a year.
She's just actually doing that. She's actually gotten through a bunch of her ones, hence all like the Shakespeare and stuff like that. But she actually had like a coupon that expired, so she's like, I gotta make it to chapters today or whatever. And they had like none of the books she wanted.
Aw,
That's always the
Very
worst.
disappointing.
lame.
Oddly enough,
small
she
one.
still managed to find something.
Weirdly,
But-
the bookstore still had books.
And you were interested in some of those books. But yeah, none of the ones that she was like, okay, now I can go get.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, that's always a bummer.
No second alternates for you.
Nope.
So much is up. So
All
much.
right, and the outro.
That would just be the outro right there. I don't even know, folks. Good night.
This concludes our episode bullshit. Thanks for listening. I'm not sure why you did.
Sparking conversations is always.
I'm just gonna laugh for the rest of it.
Butterface.
Butterfinger?
Butterfinger, butterface, butter.
Butterface.
Butter palette. Pallets and pallets of butter.
God, no butter.
Idiots.
Idiosa!